Hey everybody, welcome to Life is Brewable. I'm Anthony, and today we're going to be doing a hop overview where we go through and we talk about the history, the story, the characteristics, and the usages of some of the greatest hops that have ever been grown. Today we're going to focus on the mythical, the legendary, the ultra hype hop, El Dorado. The legend of El Dorado has captured the imagination of explorers for hundreds of years. Its mythos is on par with Atlantis and the Fountain of Youth. The slight chance of finding something so rare and so full of value has turned into somewhat of an obsession for many would-be treasure hunters around the globe. Well, today we're going to discuss the hop equivalent of this ancient mythical golden city of untold treasures. El Dorado hops were developed by CLS Farms in the Moxie Valley of Yakima, Washington in 2008 and were released to the public in 2010 on a very small, limited quantity. After some initial test batches and releases to a few select brewers, people were going out of their minds trying to get this insanely delicious, this insanely aromatic hop. And its demand was certainly driven by its supply because only 2 full acres worth of El Dorado hops were produced during its initial release. So the scarcity was high and people were already going crazy about its magnificent characteristics that were so different and so unique compared to any other hop out there. Everyone wanted to get their hands on El Dorado hops, and it's not hard to see why. El Dorado packs some serious punch with characteristics like pears, watermelons, pineapples, and lemons, as well as some more rustic flavors like mint and woody notes. But the most interesting thing, the most unique thing about El Dorado hop that set it apart from every other hop on the market, what really made it stand out, was the fact that you add it to any beer and you're going to be able to get a candy-like sweetness, a candy-like flavor out of any beer it's put into. You could add strawberries to a beer, throw in some El Dorado hops, boom, you got strawberry candy-flavored beer. Same thing with anything else. I personally used it in a dragon fruit and mango kettle sour, and it just took it to a whole nother level. It created such unique characteristics. It brought out so much flavor in the dragon fruit, which is usually a bit of a lesser tasted fruit. You know, it doesn't pack a whole lot of punch, but you throw some El Dorado hops in there to pair with it, and boom, it's a lot more in your face. Same thing with the mangoes. The mangoes became just the sweetest, most in your face. It was basically Jolly Rancher-esque. And that's why El Dorado hops can be the star of any beer that has any type of naturally occurring fruit flavors like IPAs, pale ales, sours, but it can also stand completely on its own with saisons or with single hop IPAs. I mean, it's a showstopper. Any beer that benefits from a little bit of a fruity edge gets taken to the next level with that candy-like sweetness added to it. And that's why there's so many commercial beers that use El Dorado hops as its primary driving factor. Now, I do need to put a little disclaimer out there. There is a small portion of the population that really hate the El Dorado hop because of that same thing that makes it stand out, that makes it so unique and special. It can also play a little bit of a negative aspect with some people's palates. The additional sweetness that it provides can come across as cloying or overly sweet, or to some people it makes the beer taste old, stale, or oxidized, so it does have a downside. I do think that is a minority in the beer world since it is released in so many beers, but if you're about to sink a lot of money into buying like a really hype-released beer that predominantly features the El Dorado hop, or if you're about to brew with it and you spend a lot of money on your homebrew ingredients and everything like that, you might want to be cautious. You might want to go out of your way to test it and sample it first and see if it's something you truly do like. Now, I have tried to find a reason why it provides this candy-like sweetness, why it adds that bolstered sweet effect to it, but there doesn't really seem to be any definitive answer. I've talked to social media, I've talked to hop experts, I've talked to brewers. None of them really know. At one point in time, I thought maybe there was too many monosaccharides or too much glucose naturally occurring in the hop. But when you break it down statistically, it doesn't look like it's too far off from any other hop, really. So as much as I would love to find this answer, I just don't know. And I don't think anyone really truly does know. I think it's all in the mind. It's a perception thing. Just the way its flavors come across and the way it interacts with other ingredients within the beer just kind of produces that flavor. So I don't know. If you happen to know the answer, please share with me because I would love to learn a little bit more about this, but I don't know. As I mentioned earlier, El Dorado is an extremely versatile beer. It can go in almost any style that hops are predominant, or even if it's not predominant, you can throw them in there and give it a little bit of a boost. But it increases its usage because it is the perfect dual purpose hop. It is reaching into the super alpha acid hops with an alpha acid percentage of around 13 to 17%. And its beta acid content is no slouch either, coming in at a strong 8%. This makes it the perfect beer for single hopping, for dry hopping, for bittering purposes. Although I do think if you used it for a bittering hop, you would lose out on a lot of what makes it special. You can use it at any stage and it's going to create a whopping punch. It's going to make its presence known. El Dorado pushes the limits of what hops are capable of, both aromatically and flavor-wise. And it completely changes the game when it comes to perceived characteristics. And that's something no other hop can do. Finding a replacement or a stand-in for El Dorado hop is nearly impossible because nothing is really going to come close to it. Even if you took a completely non-sweet, let's say a West Coast IPA, very non-sweet, very dry, very attenuated, and you threw Citra, which has tangerine, oranges, gooseberry type flavors, and then some El Dorado hops in there, boom, you got yourself basically a citrus Jolly Rancher IPA. I mean, that's just the power of the El Dorado hop. There's just nothing this hop can't do. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something about the El Dorado hop and some of its unique characteristics and what just makes it so dang special. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember, there is a story in every bottle and that life is beautiful. Cheers.